Friends, I must tell you, I know the place to go if you need house audio, TV installation, security monitoring. I am telling you, these people are so good that I cannot wait to share them with you. AVS Concepts is the place to get all of these things taken care of. They're the experts in audio video. If you are entertaining and you need music, call them. If you just purchased a new house and you want to have security, you've got to call them. They are the best at all of this for you. I am so excited to share them with you. They are new sponsors for the podcast. You will not regret having them in your house. They can put anything up and create the most amazing surround sound. I am telling you, when I watch my movies, I like to watch them with surround sound. And thanks to AVS Concepts, I can do that. Follow them at their Instagram account, AVSC_HTX, or you can also find them at their website, avcschouston.com, and tell them that Alicia from Vibes by Alicia sent you, and they will take care of you. I promise you. Everybody to the podcast Vibes by Alicia. I am so excited to be here with you today. I have a topic that's been on my mind and it's been on my radar for a long time. Ever since I started the podcast, actually, people have been asking about this particular topic, and it's manifesting. And for the topic today, I've invited a very special guest, my friend Kathleen Navarro.
Hi, guys.
Kathleen.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. I'm really excited.
I'm so happy to have you too, because, it's a topic that a lot of young women always bring up, and I think it's something that gets talked about a lot, but I don't know if it gets talked about in the sense that like for me, it's a serious topic. I think for a lot of women, it just tends to be like, oh yeah, I manifest, like I ask the universe for something, but it's a process actually. Yeah. So how much do you know right now about manifesting, for example? Like, what do you, because I know it's something that you also talk about on your own social media platforms. I've seen that before.
So I think right now what I know about manifesting is kind of setting that intention. I know like there's an end goal that I want to meet, and then I visualize myself at that point. So a lot of the times right now I really want to manifest a great career. Like I'm 24, I'm finishing school soon, eventually. And I just really I'm so drawn to having a career that fulfills me and empowers me, because I haven't really necessarily had that. Like I'm a student, I've worked in the service industry because it's great money, but that's not my passion, right? So right now I've been just like visualizing myself as a businesswoman, visualizing myself like with employees and how I would treat them and how I would dress and how I would show up every day and how I just try to embody that.
Yes.
And then each day take a small step towards that. Yeah. So I find myself that I'm a beginner in manifesting, but I don't know. I think that's manifesting, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And visualization is a big part of manifesting. I started manifesting back in 98, 99. I was watching an Oprah show. I think I was just starting my career as a teacher. I had just graduated from college back then. I think I was maybe 18, 19 at the time. I'm not really sure. But I remember she had a show where she talked about vision boards. And this was the first time I ever saw anything on vision boards. It was like a very interesting topic, because she said, you put a picture of, the man you want to marry, you put a picture of the career you want. And I remember making mine with my sister, because we were young. We were, teenagers at the time, or college kids. And I remember cutting out everything that I wanted. Like I was like so into it. And I thought, okay, this is what's going to be. And so I remember putting the world, because I wanted to travel. I had never been anywhere in my life. And so that was part of my vision board. And then I remember putting a white football player type guy.
And your husband, he looks like a football player now.
Yes, exactly. And I remember showing my friends and my sister, and everybody was like, girl, where are you going to find a guy like that in the neighborhood? Like, they don't exist around here. And I'm like, nope, that's the kind of guy I'm looking for. Like, I want a guy who's like big and strong and like bald, because my dad's bald. And, you know, my dad says that bald men are like super smart and amazing.
I didn't know that. I didn't know your dad was bald.
Yeah, my
and your
dad
husband
is
is bald.
when he's bald. So I remember cutting it out, putting it on my vision board, putting this career as a teacher, because I taught for many years. So I put it all out on my vision board. And I remember looking for magazines everywhere, trying to, you know, find those visualizations, by the way. And years later, years went by, I think maybe 4 or 5 years later, I remember going back and thinking on it, like, wow, I did manifest all of that because I did have my teaching career. I did find my husband that looked like the picture of that guy, you know. I did start traveling the world because when I met him, he wanted to take me everywhere. Like, I'd never been anywhere, and he was always, so his family traveled a lot, you know, so his family was always out and about doing things. But for me, it was like something very new, something different. And, you know, I just loved it, loved that I manifested all of that. But there was a process to it, right? Like, it just didn't happen. So I think one of the things that I really wanted to talk about today is like, what are those processes? What are those things? What are those steps that, you know, looking back, I did do all the steps that Oprah talked about. Did you ever see a show where she did with The Secret? The Secret?
The book. I've heard about the book, but I never saw the show.
Okay. Did you ever read the book?
I haven't read the book.
Okay.
I've seen clips of the book, but I haven't read the book.
Yeah, it's a really popular book. It was very popular back in the day, early
It's coming
2000s.
back again because I've seen a lot of talk about it on TikTok. It's
Yeah.
coming back.
So I think that's like one of the first times that you hear about manifesting or visualizations or like affirmations, like talking to the universe, right? And I think that's like the beginning for some people, right? But it continues. It goes on. So after you do your vision board, so let's talk about what is manifesting. So basically, manifesting is like attracting, believing, and thinking that things will come to you, right? So you said you visualize, you think about the businesswoman you want to be. That's part of it. You manifest the willpower, and there's a lot of positive thinking. And I think one of the problems that we face as young women is that and I know this was for me, it's the imposter syndrome, that I don't deserve the things that are coming to me.
I'm definitely going through that phase, that season of my life right now where I have the imposter syndrome, just because obviously COVID hit, right? So a lot of things changed and the world was in a really sensitive space. So I had a modeling contract that right before COVID I was going to sign and, you know, do modeling full time.
Right.
That didn't happen, right? And a lot of things that where I had planned, I'm very much of a planner with my future. I had planned meticulously, didn't happen. So right now I'm like, oh my God, this isn't happening. This didn't happen. Am I who I say I am? You know, and that's that imposter syndrome that I'm reading about a lot. And a lot of women are suffering from it, right? They're going through that right now.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we really need to work on, because that's one of the steps in manifesting is actually believing that you deserve what's coming for you.
And I think that the more you grow your self-esteem, the more that you can believe that you deserve what you want. So whenever, I mean, at least in my personal experience, when I'm kind of like a little bit self-conscious or not as confident as I would be if I'm doing everything that I want and I'm getting everything I want, I'm like, wait, I need to wake up, because this mentality of negativity is stopping everything from coming to me.
Yes. Yes, it blocks.
Yeah,
it definitely blocks. So number one, to start manifesting, you have to be clear about your goals. So tell me about your goals, Kathleen. What are your goals? Like, maybe just give me one goal that you are looking to manifest right now.
I definitely want to have my own business. It's not very specific, right? So
what type of business?
I have so many ideas.
One that, like, oh my gosh, the minute you think about it, it like your stomach just starts to get like really excited.
I want to have like a very feminine coffee shop where I could work out of, and I can like, I'm sure you've seen all the cute coffee shops that pop up around Houston and Miami. There's so many. That for some reason that has been something on my mind for years. So that's definitely what I want. And then another is a lifestyle brand. So anything that has to do with the eye, like this is one of the pieces I'll be selling. Eye bracelets, shirts, bucket hats, sweats, slides, all of that. That's something else that tugs at my heart because I like creating and I like being very creative. And I do believe in the power of mal de ojo and like protecting yourself, protecting your energy. So that's something I really want to.
Something that you really feel strongly about.
Very strongly, yeah.
Yeah, so I think if you make your intention as specific as possible, it helps. And you have to be very clear and concise. Like, it has to be super clear for you. what it's you're heading to. Because I think a problem with a lot of us who manifest is we have too many focuses, we have too many distractions, and we have to really hone in on one or two that really, really just turn us on. And like the minute you go to bed at night, you think about it and you cannot wait to get it done. Like, that's the one thing, you know? But I think for a lot of us, there's so many distractions. There's so many things out there that are just blocks, not just blocks, but negative road, negative roads. You're not going the right road. You're not taking the right steps. So part of it is just being very clear, being very concise about the goals that you have, especially when you're like looking for like a mate or like a soulmate. So many women have so many requirements.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem. That's not clear and concise. I think if they clear it up and maybe not have like a huge checklist of things that they want, maybe just a few things, that would make things easier to manifest that person.
You're saying a few big things that they want rather than talking about all the things they don't want?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So for example, if a specific value system is important to you, then that has to be like the most important things have to be on it, especially when it's like career or for men, like a career and love. Like, what is it that you're looking for? It doesn't have to be a man. It could be a partner. It could be anybody. But what specifically are you looking for? Like for my manifesting, when I did it, it was specific. I wanted him to be smart. I wanted him to be cultured. I wanted him to be a traveler. Like there were things I wanted him to be strong and like a strong sense of self, like a confident man. Like confidence was so important because I had dated so many insecure guys, and being around me, you have to be like super confident because I would know I'm the kind of girl that knows what she wants.
Leo
right?
energy, yeah.
Yes, a lot of Leo energy. So I needed that person that can handle that.
Yeah.
And so those things were on my board, which is funny.
And they were
at
on
that
your board
age,
at 18.
18, 19, yeah.
It's crazy because at 18, I had no idea what I was looking for in a partner.
Oh my God.
And it showed in the partners that I chose, right? Because I had no idea. I was kind of all over the place. And obviously as time goes on and I mature and I get more emotionally mature, my emotional IQ, I'm able to have a clear sense of what kind of person I want in my life.
Yeah. So when you see something that doesn't fit you, you automatically know it.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like as women, we have that gut instinct, that intuition. When you see something, you kind of know, oh, that's not going to work out. Right.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted a very humble partner. I find that I am very down to earth. I find that I can relate to anyone. And I just really don't relate to people that are very much cocky. Confidence and cockiness is a different thing.
Exactly. They are very different. Yeah.
So I really have always said I want a very humble partner, And that's one thing in my boyfriend now. He's a giver. He will help anyone, but he's also very humble. He comes from humble beginnings. He was born in Cuba, so he knows all about that. So I feel like we align in that way because now we're at a very different place in our lives than we were 10 years ago, but we're also still very much like, okay, we remember where we came from.
Yeah. And I think that's important because for me, my values were very important as well. Coming from a big family, especially coming from an immigrant family, first generation, that was super important for me. But when I met him, I thought he was just like a regular white boy, but he's actually first generation immigrant too. His parents are from, one is from Czechoslovakia, one is from Syria. So he is a first generation immigrant in the United States. So a lot of our values, the ways that we are, like about money, like about parenting, the way we are with our parents, the way we raise our kids, everything aligned as well, So I think values are super important, and like what you put on your list of things. I would say for me, the inside characteristics to me outweigh the outside physical characteristics.
100%. I agree. And any guy
unfortunately, it's not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, I find that just even in today's times, we're in a very superficial era, right? With social media, with all of the editing apps, with just instant gratification. If you don't like what's going on in your relationship today, you can swipe and find something tomorrow. But I've always been someone that none of my boyfriends or ex-boyfriends look the same. Like if I line them up, you'd be like, what is your type? Because I'm very much drawn to the way people are, their character, their personality. It's not very common for someone who's young, right? You were 18 whenever you had that mentality. I'm 24. So people my age, people at that age are more like, oh, I want the hottest guy. I want the hottest girl,
Yeah, for sure. So number one, you have to start manifesting by setting your goals. Number two, I would say is ask for what you want and write it down on paper.
There's something about
writing it down.
Yeah.
Or cutting it out or doing your collage, whatever it is. But you have to set that intention. Like you have to sit down and be like super clear. on your intentions. You've pinpoint what your dreams are, what your hopes are, what your goals are, and then what you're ready to ask the universe for. Like you have to put that out there in different ways. So you visualize, I visualize, I do a lot of visualization too. I speak them out loud. Sometimes I would tell my friends my intentions. And some people say, yeah, don't tell everybody what you're doing. But for me, it was important to tell people because I felt like I was getting it out.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was like, hey, if you know somebody who's like, like wants to go on a date and like he fits this certain criteria, hey, let me know. Like I would say it. Like I would tell people, hey, I want to, write a book. If you know somebody who's a publisher, that's how I found my publisher. I asked around. So I think a lot of people hold it too close to the heart and say, no, I don't want anybody to know what my intentions are. I'm just going to work through them. But then nobody knows. The universe doesn't know.
And there's flaw in that because nothing is real and everything in your head is just in your head. It's not real until you write it down, until you talk to someone about it, until you put it out there. So even when I'm thinking about something, I'm like, I need to write this down because tomorrow I'll forget,
Yes.
And I'm the same way. Like I've always wanted to own my own business. I have a lot of friends in Miami that have a lot of connections. And I'm like, hey, if you know anyone that's looking to invest, hey, if you know anyone that has a connection here. And I've gotten so much help that way. And they've helped like lift me up. So keeping it in, I understand what people say, like protecting yourself, but to a certain extent, you don't want to harbor.
Right. No, you don't want to give out too much privacy and too many details. But if there's a bigger goal, definitely let it out and get it out in the world. I remember, wanting to find a publisher for my book because I really needed somebody to help me through the process. I couldn't figure out how to get the book off, and from all my notes in my computer to actually having something. And I just sat at a table one day at a networking event. I know I said the intention. I said, I'm going to find somebody who's going to help me publish this book. I sat at a table. I met this man. His name was Mr. Carlos Sanchez. He was with the Mexican consulate. And he said, I know somebody, Mr. Derek, or I can't remember his name. He's with the SBA. He'll help you. And from that, Mr. Joe Decker, he sent me to my publisher, who was B Book House. And so I just sat that morning, I woke up and I said, I'm going to find somebody that's going to help me with my book. And I felt like I put it out there and I said it and I asked everybody at the table, I'm looking for somebody who can help me publish my book. Boom. Somebody had the connection, So I think that's the exciting part. That's the fun part of manifesting. Of course, we manifest different things, but it takes work to get to that point. That's why writing it down, visualizing, speaking it is so important. And you have to work towards your goals. That's number 3 in the step. You have to work towards those goals. So one thing that I've done recently, and I learned this through a podcast that I was listening, is the proximity principle. Have you heard about that? So it's setting yourself in places where you're going to find that you're looking for. So for example, I want to grow my podcast. I want it to be bigger and better. So I'm like surrounding myself by people who have podcasts, who are doing that already, who have like a big following, who have like the brand, who have the sponsors, right? And just listening and paying attention to what they're doing. So the proximity principle is like really putting yourself in those places where you're going to be able to capture some of that energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So proximity principle is more so, it's basically the same thing as surrounding yourself with the people you want to be like.
Yes.
You hang out with 10 people that are successful and rich in health, rich in success, whatever it is.
Right.
You are going to adapt to their behavior. You're going to be more like them rather than when you're hanging out with, I've had friends that I've hung out with that have brought me to like new levels. And I've had phases in my life where I have friends that I hang out with and we're hanging out, partying, going out every Friday. That really didn't serve me. So I guess I have heard of proximity principle.
And you've probably been practicing it and you just didn't know you were practicing the proximity principle. But now that you know about it, you're going to be more intentional. And this is a book by Ken Coleman, is the author. And when I read this book, I really started putting myself in places that were going to lead me to that next step. And from one thing led to another. And so that's how I've been able to capture some sponsors. Because I met somebody through something that I went to, and then through another thing, and then through another thing, somebody else connected me with someone else. So for me, I really believe that if you're going to set those intentions and you're going to manifest something, you have to really work at setting those steps in place, putting those steps. Okay, so I'm going to go to 2 networkings a week. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to email somebody about what I want or what I need. Instead of saying, oh, okay, so I need sponsors. I need to find sponsors. I need sponsors. I want to get sponsors. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's sitting down saying, okay, let me find 5 people that I can contact right now that will be good sponsors for me. And being really specific and reaching out to them and like checking it off, right? That's why writing down is so important, because you can go back to it and look at it. Oh, I said I was going to call so-and-so. I'm doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like another thing is, you can say, oh, I'm manifesting this, and then lay in bed all day and not do it. It's not going to happen. Like manifesting isn't a magic wand, you know, it takes intention and hard work.
Exactly.
So I see exactly.
Exactly. And having the mindset, that the right mindset too, because that's the other part that we need to talk about. It's like being mindful about what you're doing when you're doing it the whole time. You know, some people say, well, how do you get to do that? How do you get to, you know, how do you have this, you know, beautiful marriage, or how do you get to travel all over the world? But it's intentional. All of it is intentional. Like if you meet me and you meet my husband and the way we do our life, it's all of those parts are going in and they're all happening together. You know what I'm saying? Like the manifesting, the goal setting, the things that we set aside for, like the way we travel. Like for us, it's like we're always going to travel. That's always going to be our thing. And for us, our life from the very beginning is like we're going to set it up in a way that we're traveling when we want to travel. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to save all of our money for that. We're not going to buy a bigger house. We're not going to buy the better cars. We're not going to, you know, the moment that you have those opportunities to be like, oh, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that. You don't. You say, We said we were going to be determined that we were going to be traveling. That's what we're going to save our money
and you
on.
prioritize it.
And you prioritize it, and you make an intention to live the way you want to live. And so a lot of people see you and they say, well, how do you get to have all these fun? How do you get to do this? How do you get to that? You're traveling to Cuba. You're doing all those things. But a lot of that is intentional.
Behind the scenes, for sure.
Right.
A lot of it's behind, especially more so my sponsors, the money I make on social media. I always tell the girls that I coach, like, I couldn't do everything I do if I didn't make money online. You know, and I have been working at that for years.
But I love that you say that. I love that you actually say it. You don't pretend like it just happens for you.
Yeah, no, because it doesn't, right?
No, it doesn't.
And a lot of people online, and I like told, this is obviously a different story for a different podcast, but influencers like to make it, oh, this is just easy. This, you know, I'm very much, this is what it is, you know, and this is how I got there. And if I didn't have this, I wouldn't be able to do this. And if I didn't do this, this wouldn't be the outcome. So being real, I feel like, is another thing that the universe is always asking, because you can pretend to be someone, you can pretend and show things online all day long, but the universe, God, you know, whoever your higher power is, they feel if you're genuine or not.
And it's an energy, right? I think that you attract the energy that you put out. I really believe in that. It's a lot of
100%.
positive. It's not just manifesting. It's the energy that you're putting out and being around the right people. They always say, you know, you have to be careful the people you're around, because they will zap your energy or they will feed into your energy. And that's one thing that I've learned, you know, now that I'm a little older. It's, you know, the minute they're zapping my energy, I'm out. I'm gone. Like, I'm not even, you know, going to even give people the benefit of the doubt. You're an energy zapper. I'm not going to be around. It's not for me.
You have a lot of strength in that, and I give you power, because me right now, I know exactly what you're saying. There's people that I love, and then I'm like, you're in the back of my head, I'm like, you're zapping my energy. Like, what do I do? Like, you know, it's very hard to let things go, because in the human experience, we attach and we cling on to everything.
We do, yeah.
But with time, with different experiences, I've learned, like, sometimes you gotta let it go for your better.
And the sooner you learn that, Kathleen, the better you are.
Yeah.
I believe in that. I really do, because in other ways, when you're manifesting, they're blockers. They're blocking you. They're blocking that energy to come to you, because their energy is so negative and so surrounding. And sometimes you think that they're there for the right reasons, and they're not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you'll realize that. You'll capture that. I remember when I'm around people that didn't have good energy, I remember things were not happening for me.
Yeah. It's crazy, because any people probably listening to the podcast, even me right now, you think of a certain experience or situation or person that you've been through, like, when you say that. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about with the experiences I've been through. And it's kind of hard, because at the time, you want to believe that everyone in your life wants the best for you.
Right.
But energy is a different thing. Energy is powerful.
Super powerful. Sure. So reframing your mind, making it, so saying to yourself, I will get this. I am, you know, for example, one thing I want to do is I want to be more of a speaker. So I want to learn to be a speaker. So I am a speaker. I am in a big stage, telling myself that I do deserve to have this platform, you know, because before I even started podcasting, I used to think, well, who's going to want to hear from me? Like, what do I have to share? And then I thought, there are things that I want to share. There are lessons that I can share with someone,
And there are people
and they
that
can
care.
learn from it.
There's people that care.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But eliminating those negative thoughts was like the first thing I needed to do, eliminating and getting rid of them. And it's like when my mom starts to get really sad because she's sick, I said, the first thing you need to do is, rethink it. Get rid of that thought and think about what you're grateful for. So that's the next thing. The next step is number 4 is to be mindful and thankful for what you do receive. Because we are receiving things that we are manifesting. Sometimes we just don't realize it because we are too consumed by the bigger picture.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Being grateful is everything. I find when I'm grateful and I'm thankful for everything that's happening, even if it might not feel like it's going my way, better things come. When I'm in the mindset of lack, in a place of scarcity, and I'm like, oh, this isn't happening. Oh, this didn't happen. Oh, this didn't happen. It just brings more negativity, and it doesn't manifest anything.
No. Y'all, nothing beats a healthier ride than a 45-minute spin class at CycleBar West U. Y'all know I've been on a journey of health and wellness. My doctor recommended that I do cardio to improve my blood pressure. It's been high and I have hypertension, and nothing has worked better than the CycleBar West U class. I'm telling you, CycleBar has the smart bikes. They will calculate your distance and your calories. The music's great. The vibe is great. The lighting is amazing. And the trainers really want to make you have that amazing experience. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but if you wanted to, you can ask for your favorite workout songs. They want this to be about you. They want you to have the best experience possible. And by the way, I am letting you know now that they have a new Rider 3-pack for only $49. Amazing. You find them at 3233 Southwest Freeway. Or you can also reach out to them at 713-677-0477. And their email is westu@cyclebar.com. Ask for Guillermo. He's going to take care of you. If you don't do anything else for the rest of the day and you do this CycleBar West U class, I'm telling you, you're going to walk out and you're going to feel like a badass. My friends, I want to introduce to you the Vanguard Agency. They are fit for Texas. They are in the business of helping people to save money. For all of insurance needs, the Vanguard Agency cannot wait to work with you. Get a quote for your home. Get a quote for your auto, a quote for your business and restaurant. They are ready to shop your insurance policies with top-rated insurance companies. Go see my friend Humberto Garcia. He's been in the business a long time and makes an effort to make your insurance policy needs as seamless as possible for all of you. Tell him you heard about them here when you call him at 281-453-8770. They speak Spanish, and I know they will take care of you. So what do you do to reframe your mindset? What is one strategy that you use?
I will say that spending alone time. Spending alone time, because being in your own presence and being able to recharge and not having the influences of anyone else or other people's opinions or, watching the news, listening to the radio, you're solely like getting everything from yourself. That just something that really recharges me. Whenever I'm kind of going through it, when I feel like I'm not getting what I want, I'm like, I need some time alone. Let me spend some time alone. And I feel better instantly. So that's just my thing. I know a lot of people recharge by being social, but I'm kind of an introvert, extrovert. I recharge by being alone.
But when self-doubt starts to come into your mind, how do you switch it?
Self-doubt, like I said, being alone, reading books. I read books all the time. My book collection is insane. My boyfriend's like, you have so many books, just get a Kindle. Reading books, watching videos on people that have manifested, hearing success stories, doing all of that in kind of my solitude. That's how I switch it. Because another thing is being alone can be super positive, but when you're stuck in that negative mindset, it can be very negative. So I try to just take in positivity.
Yeah, one thing that I do whenever the limiting beliefs start to seep into my mind is going to somebody who can remind me that you've already accomplished a lot and that you can continue to accomplish a lot. When I was 21, I was almost close to getting engaged to my high school boyfriend. We had been together through high school and college. And I remember having a conversation with my daddy outside. You know, he was cooking, and I told him, Daddy, you know, we're gonna get engaged. And my dad was like, but why are you settling? Like, that was the first thing he said. I thought he would be happy for me because I was gonna get married. He was like, you're 21. You haven't done anything. You haven't gone to see the world. You haven't gone out on your own. And he was like, why do you think that you deserve that? That is simple and basic. You're not simple and basic. You're not that. And like him going through my head and giving me those ideas in my mind and saying, Alicia, get out of that mindset that you deserve this. You don't deserve this. You deserve that. And that's waiting for you out there. You just have to believe that it's waiting for you to go and get it and grab it. But that was the first time I ever heard somebody say to me that you deserve more. But if you don't believe it in yourself, you won't get it.
It's not in your reality.
It's not.
Similar, my mom, now that you say that, my mom is someone that I go to when I'm struggling with negative mindset. And she has been saying this to me for a few years now. And she says, just like your dad told you.
Yeah.
When I'm in my self-doubt, when I'm talking negatively about myself, she goes, you're magnetic. People are drawn to you. She goes, you have something about you that people want to be around. And she just says she's like, you're magnetic. Believe it. And when she talks to me that way, I get goosebumps. Yes. Like even talking about it right now, my heart flutters.
I love that.
Because and then she'll just say, you are magnetic. Not everyone has that. She goes, believe in that. Like, feel that. She goes, you are, I'm one of 3 siblings. She goes, you are the one that people want to meet, people want to talk to. She goes, are magnetic. And she'll just say it over and over. Yeah. And now when I'm in a negative space mentally, I just think about her voice and her saying, you are magnetic. And it makes me want to cry because it's so powerful to hear that from someone you look up to.
It is. It's super powerful, especially for a young woman who sometimes doubts that she deserves anything or that doesn't, that she's not in the right place, or maybe, who am I to think that I deserve that? Who am I to think that I could be this or that? And having that reminder that serves so many purposes inside, right? Like that moment at 21 and knowing that, you know, wow, I do deserve more. I am settling. I am looking at myself as simple and basic, and I'm not simple and basic. And my dad had to tell me that a few times, and he reminded me along the way. And the years have passed, the years go by, and now even today, I will talk to him and I say to him, I said, you know, I'm so grateful that you said that to me back then, because that stays with me every time I start to doubt myself, or I start to feel sad that something didn't happen for me or something didn't work out for me. And he will always say to me, it's supposed to work out when it's supposed to work out. Like, you're supposed to be there when you're supposed to be there. And you, in your mind, you need to stop thinking little.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, stop thinking small.
Thinking small. And I think that comes from just being, you said you're family of immigrants. I'm a family of immigrants. Like, in our culture, in our, like, the past generations, some of our family had to think small, you know, to be able to survive. And I think that comes from the territory, right? But stepping into your power and thinking, no, I deserve more, and it's okay to want more, and it's not vain to want more and to do more. It's really important in manifesting for me.
Super important. And not thinking that because you want more, that it's wrong, right? Yeah. That you're not humble.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I always say, you know, when you do more and you have more, then you can help more.
Absolutely.
Then you can go back and help. So definitely one of the things to get rid of those limiting beliefs, for example, is writing those thoughts that are bad and that are negative, and like writing them down, and then answering those negatives with positives. For example, what are the beliefs that you have about yourself that may be impeding your process? Like, for me, sometimes it's like, I'm afraid of failure. So I'll write that down. I'll say, I'm afraid to fail. I'm afraid of a no, because when I get a no from somebody, I feel personally attacked, right? So when I write it down, I always say, okay, that no doesn't mean it's a personal attack. It just means it's no for now. And I need to keep pursuing another person who might say yes, right? Because I do get no's all the time. I did ask a lot of other people to be sponsors on my podcast when they said no. But that didn't stop me from pursuing more people to say a yes, right? But if I allow that no to seep inside of me and to stay inside of me, I would have never gone and asked anyone, because I don't like to hear no.
But I always tell people, rejection is redirection. all the girls that I coach in my
That's
I'm like,
perfect.
rejection is redirection. When someone says no, you're getting closer to your yes. And I say that in every class. I talk to my friends about it because anytime I've been rejected in business and any of the like sponsors and brand deals, I've gotten a better one. It's just, it wasn't right now at the moment that I wanted. So I'm throwing a fit, but rejection is redirection. Like a no is just leading you to your yes. And I tell myself all the time, especially right now that I'm looking for a marketing job in Miami, and I've been turned down many times. I've been turned down more times than I don't have a job yet in marketing, right? And I'm like, rejection is just redirection. It's going to come whenever it's time, when I'm ready for it, when I can handle it. And it really helps me kind of stay up.
It does. And it's a good thing for young women to start learning to do early on, is to redirect that energy and not seep in it. Like men are so good at that. Like I know my husband will go to different things and he will go through it and he's good. Yeah. The next day he's good. And I'm still like seething. I'm still pissed the next day when somebody said no to me. No, yeah. And he was like, you just have to learn to move on. You just have to learn to move on. So replacing any negative feelings with positive ones, seeing a no as a redirection or seeing a no as an opportunity to learn from it and then move on to the next thing. You know, I've always heard that it takes like 10 no's to get like one yes, or 20 no's to get to one yes. Like it's a lot before you get to a yes. So definitely always keep those things in mind. And I think mindset has a lot to do with that. Absolutely. And like really framing your mind into like a winner's mindset, because a lot of the winners failed many times until they won. So always have that in mind. And that's something that always stays with me. And yeah, we don't always get what we envision, but sometimes even the smallest thing is a win.
Sure. Right? And even something that I do, like when I first started my influencer journey, I would email, I remember 20 to 40 brands a month, and one would say yes. Now I'm at a place where I don't reach out to people, they reach out to me. But that's years in the making, right? But at the time I'm like, oh my God, this is, if I had the mentality of this is gonna happen for me, it's gonna happen, it would have never happened. I just kept going and going and going. And now brands come out of the woodwork, or brands that I used to shop at, like they send me PR.
Amazing. Yeah, and I love that.
And then I'm like, oh my God, this is full circle. I used to spend so much money on this brand and now I get PR every month. Like that's a smaller aspect of it, but that in anything in life, I look at that and I'm like, okay, if I can do this, I can do that. If I can do this will happen.
Yeah. So seeing the places that you've already won, the little wins that you've already had, and like reminding yourself, I've already won at these things. I've already accomplished those things. This is a next step. This is another thing that I need to get to. So I think part of the process in manifesting is like every time you manifest, you set a new goal for yourself, but you put yourself in the position to be there and to work towards it, and maybe writing down the little steps that it's going to take for you to get to that place. Mm-hmm. I think, many people say, well, I'm going to just, manifest an amazing job, an amazing career, and it's just going to happen. I'm going to tell the universe, you can't just do that, and it's not just going to happen. And the people who get those things, they did not just get them. They worked for them, and they put it out there, and they sought people to help them. Like that's one thing that is so important about manifesting love and career is you've got to do the work. Got to. Number one, I'm going to go back to the steps. It's manifesting. You have to have your clear goals. Again, we talked about clear goals, whether they're writing, whether you're putting them on a board, or some people do like mood boards on Pinterest. Mm-hmm. Those are cool too.
On the iPads, they're doing the monthly mood boards.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the monthly, yeah. Intention, number two, set your intention for what you want, write it down on paper. To me, that's a big one, because if you don't write it down and you just think you know what it is, you're never going to go back to it and review it. You have to look at it and it'll kind of remind you. Number three, start working towards your goals, like putting yourself around those places and those things that you want. Like we talked about the proximity principle. It's a little bit of that. Putting things into action, thinking about, how you reframe your mind from scarcity to abundance. And number four, next step is to be mindful and thankful for what you do have.
Important. Really, yeah. I think that's a really important step, is being grateful.
Super grateful and just being thankful for whatever it is that you do have. I think that's the one part that I really, really go back to every time, like my parents are sick or that I'm, upset about them getting sick. I always think, at least I have them. At least I'm grateful that I can still enjoy one more day. But I'm, overwhelmed a lot of times by all the things that I have to do for them, especially for my mom. But knowing that I have one more day with her, knowing that I can still hug her and kiss her and smell her, that's my gratitude right there.
And it's that's all perspective. That's all mindset. I have a
Sure, for sure.
kind of a similar like my dad wasn't really there, like absent father, and for so long I was like, oh, they're like in this mindset of lack. Why wasn't I? Well, I have a mom. My mom is amazing. Like at least I have such,
Yeah.
and my bond with my mom is so strong. So turning that, kind of negative mindset into being grateful that I have my mom and that we're so close and I've been able to form such a strong connection with her, kind of I'm happier, right? Because you're not in a state of lack, in a state of abundance.
Yeah. Yeah. And that mindset shift is so important. And seeing the good when you don't want to see the good and like forcing yourself to see the good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when we wake up, we think, oh, I'm going to have a great day. And then things don't start going well from the early, and then you're like, oh, it's all screwed. The whole day is done. That's where you say, yeah, maybe this didn't go well, but the rest of the day is going to go good. Again, shifting that right away and like pulling those negative things and pulling them out and replacing them with positive.
The more you practice that, the stronger it gets, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like a muscle. The more
Like a
you work out a
muscle.
muscle, the stronger it gets.
For sure, for sure. I don't know, man. I thank Oprah for a lot of those things because she brought me to reading a lot of books.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know, you were probably too young because this is the late 90s.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
This era of when she was talking about manifesting, I haven't heard really much about it.
Yeah,
but that was before her rise to fame, right? Because I saw the end product.
Yeah, yeah.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, these were her early shows when she was bringing a lot of like new age thinking and books. There was a few books by Eckhart Tolle. She talked about The Secret and it just what really I think the gain from the Oprah series and from her show was like opening the consciousness and opening your mind to thinking that there's so many possibilities for you out there. Even if you come from like my neighborhood where I came from, it was all so small and so limiting. And she opened my eyes to think there's a bigger world out there, and it's yours.
grasp.
It's on your it's in your
believe.
grasp. You just have to believe it. And love and career will happen, but you do have to believe that you deserve that love and that career. Because when that love comes around and you don't think you deserve that, you're gonna push it away.
You're gonna block your blessing.
My goodness, it's a blocking. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a blocking. And I almost blocked mine too. I remember just saying to my mom, well, he's not my culture. He doesn't understand Mexicans and he's not going to be for me. And my mom was like, yeah, but does he understand other things about you? Like, that's not just it. I'm like, no, but my family is the most important thing in my life. And my mom was like, yeah, that's important. But does he understand your career? Does he understand your goals? Does he know that you're dreaming big? Yeah. Well, she's like, well, then why are you going to break up with him?
Yeah.
But I was limiting myself.
Absolutely. I have similar conversations with my mom. It's crazy because it's like a mirror.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I am you.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what though? But those lessons are so important because I take them with me wherever I go.
Yeah.
And everything that she said to me back when I was young, a young girl, I remember those things. And I remember what he used to say too. All those things that my dad and my mom would say. And I remember thinking, oh, you guys are cuckoo.
Like, okay, you're my parents. You have to say this.
No, but it was true.
Oh, yeah.
So last thing you want to do, number 5, is definitely let go of any resistance and limiting beliefs and like recognizing and being self-aware that when you are telling yourself negative talk, to replace that with positive. And that is really, really important. I think a lot of people who win in life are constantly replacing negativity with something positive. I do. I see that all the time when I'm around people who are always winning and doing well and doing good and things happen to them. I see them redirect every time. Something wrong, something bad, something that's not good for their life or for their career, they redirect that energy. And that's something that I've learned.
That's very powerful.
Paying attention to those things. So pay attention to the people that are doing well and seeing what little strategies they have. And I think these are great strategies to kind of like really getting yourself to that next level.
Yeah.
All of us are kind of trying to reach that next level.
Unlock another level.
Unlock another level. I love that. That's perfect. Oh, such a good talk. What questions do you have? What's something that comes to your mind that you like to get answered?
So you had asked me how I kind of get out of that negative space or when I'm
Yes.
self-doubting, I feel like you are just a master manifestor. Like I see your life and we message all the time on Instagram.
Master Manifestor.
We talk about it all the time on Instagram and I'm like, I love your marriage. Like I see your marriage and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what I want, right? Like I want to get married and have a husband that's exciting and adventurous and you feel safe around. Like you,
Yes.
it glows from your posts and that's not even me being with you 24/7, right? But it just, I can see it. How do you, when you're in a negative space, because we obviously all go through blocks
We
and
do,
times where we're
right.
not in good mental spaces. How do you like switch?
Which I think for me, it's a lot of being thankful for what is good and what is happening. Because I had the last few years, you know, when I closed my store, I was in the worst place in my mind because I thought I didn't push it to the level I wanted it to, that kind of thing. But always just thinking, you know, at least I had that opportunity to meet people like you through my store. I got to meet the people that were
You were
my
my sponsor.
customers. Yeah, I
Remember?
was your sponsor. So there was a lot of things that came from it that were good. So I couldn't dwell on the fact that I didn't keep it open and I didn't keep it going. When things are rough in my marriage, for example, I always think about, you know, ultimately there is a lot of love between each other. Um, there is always a lot of patience that comes from his side too, you know, with me. So whenever we have moments when we're just not like connecting, I always find those moments when we are connecting and I hone in on those and I like jump in on those connectors because they move us along, right? Because not every marriage has amazing ups. As much as everybody wants to think that you know my marriage is beautiful and perfect, it is, but it's not perfect. It's a beautiful relationship, but it's really good for both of us because we get each other. You know, my producer Jamal is here, and he'll see he and I just interact with each other. And sometimes I'm like annoyed with him, and he's annoyed with me. But there's always a love in between. So always going to that connector between the things that are upsetting you, and like love and care, years, longevity, knowing that he has the best interest for me, and I have the best interest for him, and always just kind of holding on to that respect that we have for each other. I think one thing about Rusk and I is that he will always make sure that I'm okay in whatever it is. If I'm struggling with something, he will always make sure that I'm going to be okay at the end of the day. Even if something isn't working out, even something is bothering me, or I'm really pissed about something not happening for me, he will always come back to me and say, "Well, how do we work it out? Or how can I help you process it?"
It's you guys versus the problem, not
Right?
you know, like
It's a partnership.
two is better than one. I always say, especially in manifesting.
Yes. Yes, and just really capturing what the universe gives you, and just and when it brings it to you, run with it. Don't hold back, and don't feel like you're boasting, or don't feel like you're not being humble enough, because you deserve it. You work for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that I have struggled with so much growing up. Um, you know, when you come from humble beginnings and you don't have much growing up, you're
Right.
taught like not to be very flashy, not to show off, not to talk about yourself a lot. But meeting my boyfriend now, he's always trying to make me better, always wants me to experience something new, trying to
Yeah.
find me the next best job, always looking for opportunity, introducing me to people. Oh, my girlfriend's an influencer. She can help you with marketing. Like, and you know, kind of he embodies this energy of like, oh, I'm here and I deserve this. And at first I was a little taken back,
Oh,
but that's the way to be, you know, when you
yes.
believe you deserve it and not to be ashamed and thinking like, yeah, I'm here and yeah, I deserve it. Because like I said, coming from those humble beginnings, you're kind of taught to play small. So
Yeah.
stepping into your power is something that I think that's big in manifesting. And I'm learning about it now. I won't say that I'm at like the end goal of knowing it, but each day I take a step towards that.
And I think, let me take it one step further. When you see someone embracing that energy, embrace it for them too, because energy transfers to you. If you see that woman winning, gaining, getting her sponsors, getting her shit together, getting her man, getting her travels, embrace it, because that energy that she's exuding will come to you too. And you're capturing a little bit of that. And that's going to be the next step for you. And guess what? A lot of people don't want those things, and that's okay. It's whatever is good for you. It's whatever um is making you happy. Some people don't want to leave Houston. Some people don't want to leave Miami. That's perfectly fine. But
100%.
where are you winning? What parts are you winning at, and where can we help you win?
Absolutely. I'm a big girl's girl, right? Like I have women message me
I do know that about you. I love that about you.
and that came from my mom. My mom growing up, she taught me, she's like, as you're a kid, you're like, oh, there's someone has more. And she's like, never be envious. She always told me, never be envious, be happy for people and what they have because your time will come eventually. And hearing that every day, almost like growing up, it really taught me how not to be jealous, how not to be envious, and how to cheer on the next woman, right? Because just because you're winning in this season and I'm not, doesn't
That
that
you're not ever going to win.
that I'm not ever going to win. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that somebody else shouldn't win because I'm not right now. Like when I see people doing good, it makes me feel so good because I know everyone's fighting a battle you know nothing about. And you don't know what they did to had to get there.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not an easy journey. And if she's winning, she's facing her journey in the best way she's facing it. And I admire that.
No, yeah.
It's admirable.
I have a big admiration for women that just go after what they want. And also the
Me too.
women that can be happy for their friends. I've had friends in my life that when I'm doing really, really good, it's just some sense of animosity, trying to humble me or put me down. But when I was struggling, it's like, oh, I'm here for you, whatever you need. Like some people like to see you struggle. And eliminating those friends really hurt at the time. But I feel like once I did that, my life got better.
But again, it's removing blocks.
And
you're removing those blocks.
And they present themselves as people, situations, whatever it is. A block can be a person, it can be a situation, it can be an experience. Like I've learned in manifesting, you got to eliminate the blocks.
Always. And that's how they come down. That's how all the good stuff comes to you. All the good stuff. Kathleen, where can people find you so they can go and see all the cool stuff you're doing? Because I love seeing your posts. You're always out and about. And I'm like, oh, that life. Love it.
I am all about experiencing life.
I love that.
I'm on Instagram, Kathleen Navarro. It's my first and last name. My website's the same. TikTok, all of that's under Kathleen Navarro.
Is there something my audience needs to know about you? Are you any promotions that you've got going on? Anything that you're working on? Any projects you need to go and support?
Right now, I'm working on getting my brand built, which is Conscious Ojo. It's going to be a lifestyle brand, super empowering, anything that has to do with the eye. And the eye is super big in many, many cultures, in Greek culture, in Mexican culture, even in Cuban culture, like they wear the eye. And it's all about protecting your energy, protecting yourself, and just keeping your energy very, very positive. So I'm going to be selling anything that has to do with the eye. I'm in love with it. It'll be your one-stop shop. So within the next 3 to 6 months, I'm going to have it off. I'm going to have it up.
Very good. Yes, we are going to have it up. And is there a website or should we just follow you on Instagram to find out when you're going to be doing
Follow me and there'll be updates. Follow me on there. I'm always on there, constantly posting. I also do social media coaching. You've even taken my class.
Yes.
And I've helped a lot of girls kind of get on there. Not even just women. I've also coached a few men that want to just build their social media presence because I do have a social media presence that I've built. I've learned tricks and strategies over time. And I do give a big success to online social media. It kind of takes away that gap, like if you have access to the internet or a phone, you can do it. And I tell anyone can have an online presence. You just have to work at it. So I teach a lot of people how to do that. And I love it. It's one of my passions. So check me out.
Yeah. And she's really good at it. Really, really good at it. And I learned a lot from you too. Like I go on there and I say, oh, she's trying that. Let me try that. The one thing I can't do are the reels.
The reels?
Those are hard for me when
I was in the same boat. I was in the same boat, but you know what? Instagram is constantly changing and evolving, and I just keep having to learn new things. And instead of resisting, I'm like, all right, let me figure out this reel. You know what's funny is I have to say, when you took my course, I was so intimidated because I was like, oh my God, one of my favorite businesswomen in the city. You sponsored me years ago whenever I was I think I was Miss Texas Latina at the time. And I was like, I can't believe she's taking my course. And I always coach women that are younger than me. And I always coach women that are very at the beginning of their social media career. And you, to me, are like a role model.
No, but I'm always ready to learn.
Yeah, and
always.
I admire that because I was like, she has to know more than me. How is she taking my course? I was freaking out to my boyfriend. I was like, this woman inspires me. And it was so funny, but I'm so grateful that you took
hilarious.
The course.
But all of us are learning.
Yeah.
And especially for me, since I'm a little older than y'all, I'm a little Gen Xer over here. I learned a lot from you ladies, and I'm trying really hard. I promise you I'm trying hard to get a little bit better at it. But there's days when I feel like I'm an old lady and I don't know what I'm doing. But that's why your class was so good, because I'm like, okay, I can do it. You gave me the confidence to say, you know what? these sponsorships, they can happen for you too. I mean, they're out there.
The money is out there. You just have to go get it. With the sponsorships, I tell everyone, like, people need marketing right now. No one is paying like networks anymore.
Regular ads are not
regular ads,
commercials.
billboards. No one's doing that anymore. It's all social media. So anyways, like I said, I was so shook when you took my course. I was like, oh my God, because I look up to you. Truly, you're like,
and I look up to you too.
Oh, I love that. It's crazy because you're a businesswoman. You're everything that I aspire to be. And I was like, all right, I got to go on my A game in this course. Let me go. I was like freaking out.
You are too funny. That's funny. That's funny because I'm always following the younger girls too. I'm wanting to learn as much as I can and capturing that energy too. I want to capture that energy. Again, talking about the ojo, it is about like going and being around people with que no te den ojo, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are actually going to be good and not envious and jealous and be like, yeah, you need something. What can I do to help you?
Absolutely.
That's really what it is.
Sure.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I had
such
fun.
a good episode. Manifesting love and career. Maybe we should have talked a little bit more about love, but man, careers is like something that people like. One thing I do say when it comes to love, I do tell people this. This is one of the things that I do tell people is tell them what you're tell others what you're looking for in a mate, in a partner. Because some people will always connect. Oh, I know somebody that could, work for you. And like, I feel like that's a good way to connect people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Putting it out there.
Putting it out there again, putting it out. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And give us some feedback. Let us know if you apply some of these steps that we talked about today. If you relate to some of our stories, if you feel like you're stuck and you're ready to manifest, I want to hear from you. I really, really want to hear from you. And follow Kathleen. She's got so much fun stuff on her social. I just love to see everything she's doing. She's all about experiences, and I love that.
Definitely. And thank you for having me. This was a great experience.
Yes, thank you. You guys, I want to introduce to you my skincare expert, Natalia, Castille. Everyone wants to know, how in the world do I have the most gorgeous, beautiful skin? Yeah, thank you very much. I know. And it is because of her. Natalia Castille is my go-to skincare specialist. She takes care of me. And I'm telling you, you guys will love her. You will find her at the ACPS. It is the Aesthetic Center for Plastic Surgery. And if you really, really want to know more about them, you can visit them at their website, ACPS Plastic Surgery. It is a med spa that I love to go to. It's so easy just calling in and say, I need to set up an appointment for my facial with Natalia. And they take care of me immediately, in and out. They take care of skin rejuvenation. They do something called derma infusion. They do cool sculpting, and Natalia does all of that. She's also taking care of my laser needs. Like, she does laser reduction for me, and I swear to you, people say, oh, it's painful. She makes it so painless. Love, love, love her. So if you need to find out more about how you can get great skin, follow her at her Instagram, Natalia Castille, at Natalia Castille. You will not regret it. I will give you guys all the details, and she will take care of you. I promise you, she will do a great job for your skin. You will not regret it, and you will have the best skin of 2022.